I've been only with the company for maybe 18 months, so I'm still very much in my infancy, learning about the company, how this company has been so successful over the last decades. And I'm leading this digital innovation blueprint. So Singapore Airlines came a little bit late in this innovation, digital innovation game. But you know Singaporeans, you know the culture. I've been living here for 14 years, so I start knowing Singaporeans a little bit better than when I came here first. Singaporeans, when they commit to something, they commit really seriously. They stick to their words. So this, as you can see, the CEO personal commitment on making this a success is making my life way easier, as you can imagine, because he's backing up pretty much everything we do. So that's very, very important. And one of the reasons why this is successful is because he's behind, very strongly behind our initiatives. So when you think about Singapore Airlines, what are you thinking of? So who flew with Singapore Airlines before? So far in the room, I guess most of you, right? Raise your hand. So who liked it? Who enjoyed it? Not bad. So who didn't like it? Don't be shy. If anyone didn't like it, please come and find me at the end of the presentation. We need to understand why maybe some of you didn't enjoy flying with us, because we make everything possible to make you enjoy it. Well, I mean, what makes Singapore Airlines? I mean, honestly, I'm not saying it because I'm Singapore Airlines now. I used to fly Singapore Airlines for 14 years since I relocated here in Singapore. And when I got the opportunity to join the company, I was thrilled. I really wanted to understand what makes this company so unique. This brand has an emotional connection with its consumer, with its travelers, right? Very few, think about it, very few companies in the world have this exclusive emotional connection with their customers. Of course, we have a wording here which I won't repeat, and this is all true. But you know what? I think this extra care, this kind of human connection you have. Hey, I flew back from Paris to Singapore. Actually, I landed in Singapore this morning, and when I reached the airport yesterday actually at 12 at noon in Paris, Charles de Gaulle, I went through the queuing process and the usual thing, right? And when I reached closely to the gate, to actually where I would board the plane, I was joining the crews, right, and the pilots. They were queuing with me in the queue. And I felt this, like, they were smiling at me, I was smiling at them. They didn't know I was Singapore Airlines. But we started connecting, we started talking. And this warm human touch is something which is very unique, which makes Singapore Airlines so special, right? It's very difficult to describe. And it's a result of a process. So when you think about what makes Singapore Airlines successful, what makes it unique, what do you think it is? Because when I joined Singapore Airlines a year ago, I tried to get my head around what is it that makes it so special. Before I even start doing anything with innovation and with digital, I needed to understand, right? I needed to get my head around that. So what do you think makes Singapore Airlines successful and one of the best airlines today in the world? What is it? I think the answer to this question is very simple. It's its people. And that's what I'm going to talk about. So today, and I know through the event you went through a lot of fascinating, interesting presentations about, what AI, marketing, digital innovation, machine learning, whatnot. I'm not going to talk about that. Those to me are not the most interesting things we have to consider in our job. The most interesting things we're focusing on is people. Technology is just an enabler. Of course we use blockchain, we use machine learning, we use all these things, obviously. But that's not our purpose. Our purpose is really, really to transform people. Why? What if I say transforming a company is all about transforming its people? Would you agree with that statement? I guess, right? It goes without saying, right? Transforming a company, it's transforming its people. It goes without saying, but it's better when we say it, because this is a strong statement. Because here we go. Transforming people is the most difficult thing to do. is the toughest thing to do. Think about yourself. When did you ever transform yourself? By transforming, I mean not change temporarily, not doing a little bit better one day and coming back to what you used to do before. Transforming means becoming a better version of yourself, never going back to who you were before. When did that ever happen in your life? Think about it. Intuitively, I'm sure you're now thinking about an experience, right? Something you went through. When you broke up with your first girlfriend or first boyfriend, that's for me. When you went to experience something in life, something enjoyable, something painful, or maybe a bit of both. That's what transforms you, right? Experiencing something. So when we're looking at transforming people at Singapore Airlines, this is about what we're looking at. We're looking at making them living something, living an experience. So how does that work? Here is the trick. I'm going to explain to you now. Everyone, anyone, at any time in the week and the day can come to us, to my team, with an idea. Cabin crew, pilot, ground staff, engineers, lawyers, whoever in the company can come at any time with an idea, just an idea. That's the only thing you need. And if your idea is good, we're going to look at the idea. If the idea makes sense, if it's something interesting for the company, here is the thing. You're gonna do it. You're gonna make it happen. You're gonna prototype the idea. You're gonna make a proof of concept with the idea. So you're gonna live an experience of doing innovation. And that's very, very unique. You know? And it sounds a little bit silly because Singapore Airlines is 20,000+ people. Can we bring 25,000 people to a process of doing innovation? Certainly not. We won't do that. We cannot do that. But here's the thing. When a company, a large organization, gets 10 to 15% of its employees involved in doing something about innovation, then you trigger the entire company's change. So we're targeting at 1,500, 2,000 people going through this process of actually doing innovation. Okay? The only thing you need is an idea. By no means do you have to be a programmer. By no means do you have to understand digital. That's not the point. We take care of that for you. The way I'm explaining this is, I'm sure everybody here can sing, yet not everybody is a musician, right? We take care of the music. We make you sound great by playing the music behind you. That's the way it works. So I'm going to share a little story with you, and please forget about the stereotypes. I intentionally choose a story of a lady whose name is Grace, and she is one of those many, many employees who came with us through this innovation journey, doing innovation, an employee, just another employee in the company. She's doing procurement, she's sitting behind a line manager, never exposed to public, never speaking in public. She's in her late 50s, so forget about innovation. Digital is for millennials, for Instagrammers. Forget about that. This is stereotypes. Innovation is for everybody. And here's the little video I'm going to share with you, a little story of Grace.
I'm Grace Go from HR Technology. Some of my colleagues are like my extended family. We can talk about anything under the sun. Some are not all. We have around 100 meeting rooms in both airline house and training center. Sometimes you walk around the meeting rooms, you look at the system, it's fully taken up, but there are still empty rooms around. During the design thinking workshop, we decided to brainstorm together and come up with a solution.
Yeah. It's very good. Yeah. Then we dive down into the technical portion. Yes. Less words.
Yes.
And I think you have a very good understanding of the solution. So basically explain it to the audience like how you explain it to us. Grace is a very pleasant person to work with. Although she's not familiar with the new technologies, she puts in her best effort to understand the concepts behind her idea.
oxygen sensor that detects distance. We also connect to this microcontroller.
Yeah, then you can tell whether there is people going in to the meeting room. If not, they will be empty. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, very creative, very good.
We have a good idea of what a prototype will be. However, it boils down to Grace's presentation on demo day to get the final go ahead on this project.
I remember when I was 8 years old, I went up the stage to sing a song. After the first 2 lines, I really got stage fright that I forgot all the lines. From then on, I always feared going up on stage. I will be presenting a group of colleagues. I need to have some feedback. My sons are very good with public speaking. I think I am in good hands, but fingers crossed.
I've never seen this side of my mom before, with the go-getter attitude and the never say die mentality. I think my mom is very brave to have come forward for this presentation.
With this sensor, we have this sensor that plays on top of the meeting rooms, one in and one out.
Yeah, so you need to express yourself more and try to increase your voice.
Today is demo day. All the hard work is like this. I must make sure that I go up and try my best. I was very nervous at the beginning, and then as I continue, I get better and better, and I finish the presentation without forgetting anything. This entire experience has been an empowering journey for me. I've learned to overcome my fears, and I'm very proud of myself that I am able to present in front of a huge crowd with confidence.
If there is one reason my team and I go to work every day, is because of that. This is the stories we are creating every day. We're actually not doing innovation. We're creating innovators. We are creating stories. That's what we do. Why is that important? Let me put a bit of context here. Think about Stella. Stella is another lady who went through this journey. Stella built a mobile app with my team. Think about Stella coming home, sharing her mobile app with her kids, her friends, her family, her husband, saying, this is my app, this is what I did. Think about Stella presenting in front of CEO. Our CEO is sitting front row every 2 months at every single demo day. Think about how fulfilling it is for someone like Stella or Grace presenting in front of 300, 400 people inside the company. Right? So this is something which has an interesting effect. It's actually getting viral. So other people want to join. Other people want to have the same kind of success story, right? Because they get exposed. It's good for their career, it's good for them. And it's transformational. They transform themselves through this journey. That's what it is about. It's about lighting up all this little bubble which is driving us to the future. They come with an idea, we give this idea a shape or form, right? Because sometimes the idea is a bit rough, it's not really well expressed. That doesn't matter, we do the job. We connect with the ID submitter and we work together to fine-tune the ID. We power the ID with technology, whatever that technology is about. Again, we don't care. We use machine learning if it's useful. We use blockchain when it makes sense. Think about ChrisPay, which is our first airline e-wallet blockchain. You can download ChrisPay from Apple Store or Google and use your miles to buy, I don't know, a cup of tea, a pair of shoes, or whatever. So this is also an innovation which came through this process. And we make them shine. We make people shine. That's our job. So why am I taking so much time insisting on that? It's not because we have a romantic conception of innovation. This is serious. This is not only about fun and what I was talking about for the last few minutes. It's about a rigorous process. We use the lean startup methodology. We bring those people to a very serious, rigorous process of doing innovation. And an idea should come from the left to the right of this picture in less than 6 months. Think about, we are living in an airline world where any innovation will take something around 2 to 3 years. to go from an idea to be actually implemented in production. Here we are targeting about doing it in 6 months maximum. This is a revolution in the company. And we do it with employees. Why is that important? What I can tell you, my learnings from companies doing transformation and digital transformation, we don't know why some of them are successful. To be honest, we don't. There are companies which are very successful in doing it. And we just had a very good presentation from Ascot on their initiative Life. Very interesting initiative. This is one success story. There are many out of there. We don't really understand what is the recipe to make it successful. What we know is when they are not successful, what's the reason behind it? It's because they haven't been able to bring their people on board this transformation. Okay? You only have 2 ways to transform a company. Right? Number 1, fire everyone, change everyone, and get new people on board. Number 2, transform your people. We don't have a choice. We are a successful airline because all people made this airline successful. It would be silly firing everybody and bringing only new people on board. It would be the last thing to do, right? So we have no choice. We have to bring them on board. In my last job, I heard my boss saying something on stage. He said, you got to make a call. You got to figure out whether you are on the bus or whether you are not on the bus. And that's disastrous. That's not something we would do. We would make everything possible to make them feel part of it, to make them excited to join. Okay? So, cutting across, let me share a few examples because Grace is one of many. You've just seen, let me get back actually, you've just seen the number of, actually this is not up to date, we have more than 600 ideas which came to us in the course of 12 months. 11 of them are actually into production. I'm talking about real applications in production to our customers or to our employees. So this is serious stuff. Here is an example where we created, let me get back one slide. So this is an idea which sounded a bit anecdotal when we started working on it. And this idea is about you know, when parents are flying with kids, it's very difficult to entertain kids in the flight, especially for long flights, right? So we developed a coloring kit. So the kids color a paper, and once they use their mobile phone, what they colored will come up to life like that. You know, like here is a little rocket with the colors they just choose, right? So it's very fun because, you know, it's entertaining, right? So here we use a rocket or we use planes. Well, we started doing it with animals. So kids, they can color animals on the paper, and then animals will start talking to them, we'll start a game with them, so they will be entertained doing so. Here is the thing, what's very interesting with this initiative, which was a very simple gimmick at the beginning, we realized that by doing it with animals, we were giving the desire for people and their parents to go and visit the animals at the zoo. So here, we start with a little gimmick which becomes a fantastic marketing tool. Think about a kid playing for 1 or 2 hours with animals through a mobile app. He will definitely want to go and see the animals in real, right, in Singapore Zoo. So, again, a very interesting idea which came from one of our staff, which becomes a business in itself. Another here's the thing, this is from far my preferred ideas because it's very fun. You can actually take selfies with the little animals and things, right? Here is something a bit more serious. The way we strap containers in our cargo planes, right? This is very important. Let me show you why it's important. This is not a Singapore Airlines flight, by the way, but just gives you an idea of how important it is to strap things correctly. This happens because one of those big containers in the plane slipped, moved, and of course the plane lost balance. The way we train, or the way airlines train their people to strap containers in the plane is with those mock-ups, right? Very limited, as you can imagine, right? Doesn't put them in a real situation. So what we decided to use virtual reality and to put our operators in a real environment, immersive environment, so that they are guided and trained to strap containers in various different forms of shape, the right way, using the right methodology. So this is a virtual reality training app, which is currently used in our company. It's all about safety. Safety is from the most important concern for any airline, for Singapore Airlines in particular. Okay, so that's another example of how we use innovation. And again, this idea came from one of our staff. I'm only sharing idea which came from our staff, our people. Here another example. We are training cabin
In this
crew
scenario, you can
using
familiarize with
virtual
some
reality.
cabin features. Tap each icon to discover features. The reading light can be switched on by the passenger for extra light, especially when the main cabin lights are turned off.
So this is an example where instead of putting our cabin crews in a mock-up in a real situation, we can get them to train using virtual reality. And this little video gives a little bit of the vibes. We have a lot of events, we have a lot of, I just mentioned Demo Day, but we have a collaboration with startups. We bring startups on board, we innovate with them. So this little video gives you a little flavor of the vibes, of the fun we get out of this innovation program. So to wrap up this little presentation and this sharing with you, and I would be very, very happy to hear what you think about it, whether you disagree with that being a good approach or whether you have other ideas. I would be very happy because this is very much what I'm trying to get every time I go and share it in front of a public audience. To wrap up this presentation, what really matters is it's all about people. It's getting a little gimmick, people laughing at me because I always say the same thing. I always say it's all about people. Forget about technology. When I joined the company, my team was a bunch of geeks, programming, doing development, excited by using AI, blockchain to do all sorts of funny things. A year later, their job completely changed. They shifted from being developers, geeks, to become people-centric. They care for people. They bring people to this innovation, and they get a lot of enjoyment from doing this, even more than they got from doing their own developments before. Right? So that's very important. I've seen too many examples of companies. I mean, you guys are here. You guys are all here because you are sharp. You are the one who know. You are the chosen ones. Your company sent you here because you are leading the change. Whether you're working in sales, whether you're working in whatever you're doing, you are here because you understand that. You're on the bus already. Think about a company like Singapore Airlines. How many people do you think understand what we're talking about here? What am I talking about here now? How many? Think about 25,000 people. What? 5%? 3? 1%? Probably less than 1%. So how can we get from 1% people who care, who feel that they are part of this, to 15? That's the problematic we're working on. Because if you don't do it, one thing is sure, you're going to fail. I'm signing whenever, wherever you want on that statement. Thank you very much for listening.